Bonjour and welcome into the cave. My guest today is a powerhouse who's not afraid to be vulnerable and raw in her lyrics, showcasing a true strength. Get ready to hear a lot more about this mathcore band from Leeds. Courtney Levitt of Love Rarely is here with me today. Hi, Courtney.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm good. Are you?
Yeah, I'm very good. This year has been pretty eventful for you between touring, festival appearances, new singles also out. How has the year been for you?
It's been crazy. It's been very overwhelming for our little brains. It's been nice to sort of come home and sit back and sort of look back on it because while you're in it, it's like, whoa, what's going on? But yeah, it's been really nice. It's been experiences that we never thought we'd experience so fast, especially. And we've met so many friends and yeah, we just feel a little bit different than we did at the start of the year.
Very nice. So let's get right into it and let's talk about the first song that you wanted to talk about, which is Disappear by Love Rarely, and especially the lyrics I Will Suffer Loss.
Yeah.
Can you explain why this choice and a bit of about the song?
When I wrote this lyric, it felt like I dealt with a really frustrating feeling that I think a lot of people feel is when you worry, even subconsciously, about losing friends, family, or even pets. It's like a thing that constantly goes in loops in my head, and it were a bit like you just need to deal with the fact that that's going to happen, and you need to remind yourself that you will suffer it, and then it will soften the blow to when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
It were a bit like a constant sort of reminder to not go hard on yourself for something that's going to be inevitable, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it were just really nice to scream that lyric in that way and get it out of my system.
Is it a fear that you've always had even as a kid, or is it something that happened more recently?
So I think I think I realised what death was when I was like 6. And I went through the whole period of realising what that were about. And then now it's about understanding more about death instead of just finding out about it. And it's not even about death, it's about people not wanting to be in your life anymore. And like you still grieve them even though they're here because they've took that away from you, they've took themselves away from you, or you've
Mm-hmm.
decided you don't want to be in their life. And so yeah, I think it's a massive thing that everybody thinks about all the time.
Yeah, it's if it were more about being scared of death, you would also, I get, be scared of your own. But it's really the fact that you're afraid of missing
Yeah,
something in your life.
yeah, absolutely. I am still scared of my own. Terrified. But it's fine. It's fine.
When you wrote this song, so you said that it was about losing friends, family, or even pets. But was there something specific at that time that made you write this? Or
The things that I seem to be writing about now are things that have happened like way, way back. There is some things that I'm writing about now that are happening, but with Disappear, it wasn't essentially right now. I do treat songwriting as a way of working through things. It was like way back when, but it's still very frontal lobe based.
Mhm. And did you feel better putting it into words after writing it, or even after recording it when you actually said the words out loud?
Yeah, it does something. It's like it has a similar effect to when you write someone a letter but don't send it, sort of thing. But it's even better because you're still putting it out into the world. They can hear it if they want, but you don't know. So it's dealing with something on a larger scale, really.
And now when you sing it live, for example, does it still have the same impact for you?
Yeah, especially the ending, because the ending gets so big and loud, and you get so like hyped up on stage. And we're getting to the point now where Disappear is starting to get the live reaction of, oh, I've listened to this a few times and know it, instead of when we first started playing it and everyone was like, I don't know this song. So people are starting to like sing the lyrics back to us now and get into it. And when that happens, it's a different experience altogether.
And especially when you think that maybe some people sing it also meaning those lyrics, knowing what it feels like.
Yeah, that's unreal. When I get the odd message every now and again, like, can't believe you wrote about this. It's because I do like to keep not too niche, obviously, because everybody has the same problems as like everybody goes through the same things, but I do like to keep the things that I sing about quite niche, so it's not doesn't feel generic almost.
Hmm.
So when someone does get the lyrics and has experienced the lyrics and reaches out to me, it's like, oh, that's crazy. I do really I enjoy that part of it like a lot.
You were talking about the ending of that song. So let me know if I interpreted it wrong, but for me, the ending sounds a bit more hopeful
Mhm.
or maybe accepting it. Is
Yeah.
that how you saw it?
So the whole premise of this song is like realizing how much better life feels when you stop clinging on to the bad stuff.
Hmm.
It doesn't even necessarily have to be a person, it can be something that you're doing, like even an addiction thing. And then when that goes aside and they're not in your life anymore, or that thing in your life anymore, and things feel better, it's a bit like, oh my God, what have I even been doing? Like,
Hmm.
I should have done this. But you've still got that moment of clarity where you're like, so the lyric is set up the telly in the back room or settle in the sun. And it's basically like you can hide away and be upset about this thing for the rest of your life, or you can go out and enjoy yourself. So
Hmm.
that's why I say I'm going to settle in the sun, because it's like I'm going to enjoy what's going on here.
So it's also a bit about leaving your comfort zone, I guess, because sometimes you're in a situation that is not comfortable, but that's all you know, and you're a bit afraid of change. And when you
Yeah,
actually change it,
yeah, 100%. Especially with certain people that you can end up in any kind of relationship with, if they make you feel a certain way, you will just stay because you don't know that there's something better.
sometimes you also don't realize how bad it is until you're out of it.
Hmm. Yeah, but like looking back, you're just like, why did I let him speak to me like that? Why did I let him do these things? And that's another moment of clarity for you, really.
Yeah.
Like you get rewards the further away you get from it, I think, and
Hmm.
it's things that make it easier to deal with in the long run.
Yeah, it's just about taking that step, that leap of faith
Yeah,
to get
absolutely.
out of it. Also, the lyrics that I really liked, and I think I can relate to it, but you will let us know a bit more. You say, when I think, I shut down. When I talk, I crash out. Can you explain those a bit more?
It's basically one of them things where keeping it in is unsettling you, but talking about it is getting it out in the open and making it a real thing, which is also quite a negative feeling. So both things, obviously talking about it comes more with more positive things because you're getting it out your system. Someone's probably giving you advice on it. But the other element of keeping it in and not wanting to have that awkward chat is eating you up. So it's like both things sort of have a negative to them, and it just makes it even more frustrating.
Yeah, and especially when it's with people that you don't feel, that you don't trust that what you have to say will be taken well, and that you don't
Yeah,
feel like you can completely open up.
yeah, because you know that they'll be thinking about it a certain way, and you don't want to open up yourself to be vulnerable in front of them because there's probably aspects of that that have been ruined by your relationship.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'd definitely say that makes it harder.
And right now, when you think about the Courtney who wrote the song and the Courtney now, do you see a difference already between those two?
Yeah, I think every time I do write a song about something that's happened or is happening, it does work in a therapy sort of way for me, and it gets a lot of things off my chest that I wouldn't necessarily have an avenue to put it. because it deals with things differently when you're writing it into music. It doesn't feel like it would go into a therapist. It feels like you're creating this permanent object of the feeling that's just going to be out there forever, and you can go back to it and check it. And yeah, definitely. I think also mixed with the experiences that we've had this year and seeing how people are receiving the music, that's like changed me as well, because it's really hard to get your head around people wanting to be involved with something this
Mhm.
heavy with what you're doing. It's really like hard to deal with it mentally, thinking that this is happening and you're part of it and people really are enjoying it. And yeah, so long story short, yeah, I definitely feel different to when we wrote Disappear.
And when you wrote those songs, because of course you realized how vulnerable it was, and did you realize that it will actually that people would listen to it? Well, this sounds a bit stupid asking like that because you wrote the song and then you recorded it and put it for everyone to listen to. But were you afraid of being this vulnerable, or at least worried about what the answer
Um,
would be?
there's definitely, I wasn't with Disappear. There is songs in the new things that we are in the new project that we're working on that is very deep, and I think certain family members would not be happy to hear what I've wrote. So I am a little bit worried about that. I've definitely gone further with the new songs than I have with Disappear. Disappear were such a long time ago, and not even necessarily just one person. I think I've had like multiple friendships break down in my lifetime, and I think it's probably a bit of a processing thing with loads of different relationship breakdowns than just one significant experience.
Hmm.
So yeah, it didn't really feel that scary because I probably wouldn't even talk to him now anyway. But yeah, the new songs, I'm like, oh yeah, that's, you're not listening to that.
Hmm.
We'll keep that away from you.
This might not be an opportunity to start a conversation with the people involved.
I don't think so. No, probably not. Some people you can't talk to, and you've just got to accept it. You've just
Hmm.
got to be
Yeah.
like, you're good for this, in terms of I can have a good time with you, like have fun on a night out, and then I go home and that's it.
Hmm.
Like, would you put it there? Do you know what I mean? And then with terms of family members, it's like that thing's never going to change no matter what I say. So I've just got to take the bad with the good.
Do you think also, for example, for the line that I talked about, when I think I shut down, when I talk I crash out, is it something that you felt from when you were a kid in your family, or is it something that was really created in a specific relationship?
Yeah, I'd definitely say it was something from a young age, because I don't think there's necessarily a way that you get to feeling that without experiencing it from like your sponge years, is what I call them, because it's like where you learn all your behavioural traits and stuff like that. So I think the way that you deal with things as an adult comes from then. So I'd definitely say that comes from my childhood. Yeah, I think there's been certain like parts of my childhood where I probably felt like I just had to be quiet and be like, yeah, that's happening. I'll just
Hmm.
sit in my bedroom and mind my business.
Yeah, and when you're a kid, you think it's the norm that it should be like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I were an only child as well, so there weren't necessarily more people to go, oh, this isn't really normal, or you shouldn't be dealing with this. Do you know what I mean? It would just get on with it, basically. So
Hmm.
I definitely think that sets you up for
Yeah.
certain things. I'm definitely dealing with a lot of things now in a way of trying to figure out how I can be better with it, because I know it's learnt behaviour in a way.
Mhm.
And I think these songs are part of the process with that.
What you tell me, I relate to it a bit because I'm also an only child and I don't know anything about your childhood. I don't want to get too deep, but also, for example, when I was going to a friend and they were arguing with their parents, and I remember thinking, you cannot talk like that to your parents. When I realized a
Yeah,
bit, you know that feeling?
it's awful. Because I've always been a very, I'd say like emotional, sensitive child where like whenever I was saying bye to a family member, I'd say I love you and give him a big hug and a kiss. And so when I saw the opposite of people being like, don't come in my room, don't talk to me, I was like, oh my God, this isn't nice. I hate this. So yeah, it's definitely, I definitely think our way is the better way because I think growing up the other way is really like setting yourself up for bad relationships in a way. I
Mhm.
think when you come with like from a loving family, you get a lot more from it and a lot more like better memories. Like if say my nana's not very well now, if I'd have treated her like I saw some of my friends treat their family members, that's all I'd be thinking about now. Whereas when I think back on it, I just think, oh my God, we had the best time and it were full of love. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I am glad it's that way.
Yeah, it's also good to look at it and see the good sides.
Yeah,
And and of course not everything is perfect because for every parent it's their first time being human, being parents
yeah.
on this earth.
That's something that I've got to constantly remind myself because it's like I'm 29 now. I could have a 10-year-old if I wanted to, 9-year-old. Do you know what I mean? And it's like I don't really know how I'd have done that
Mhm.
now because I want kids when I'm like probably late 30s, and I feel like I'll have done all the things I need to do by then to not tarnish the childhood and make them have a bad head, basically.
Yeah, kind of breaking the cycle and just
Yeah.
realizing and working on yourself.
I think our
And that's good.
generation is just doing that. I think that's just
Definitely.
every single person I talk to is just like, we need to sort this out, basically. We need to stop whatever they started.
But
Yeah.
actually, I think every generation is getting better and better because if we see our parents with our grandparents,
Yeah, yeah.
it
That
was.
they're annoyed by them. Do you know what I mean? There's you see like some things that my grandparents will come out with, I'm just like, nah. But then I know there it's not mendable because it's absolutely ingrained into them as people. But then some things that your parents say, it's like, no, we can work on this.
Mm.
There's things we can do here to make it better. And then you look at ours, like our generation, and it's like, that's not happening. So we've
Mhm.
definitely already done such a big step in changing things, I think.
It's hard because it needs to have tough conversations to get out of your comfort zone, but
Yeah.
in the end, it's
I
for the
think
best.
I think our communication has got better in our generation. I think we seem to be able to tell each like hold boundaries and stuff like that instead of just putting up with things like they did way back. So there's definitely a lot of positives happening, even though it doesn't really feel like it,
Mhm.
like on social media and stuff. But yeah, I do think we're doing the work.
Yeah. And did you see for you an improvement when you started working on yourself and writing those
Oh,
songs helping you?
yeah, massively. I think I've realised a lot this year of my way of dealing with things has been like behavioural things that I've learned whilst I've been growing up that are sometimes negative and not a very good way to deal with it. In Disappear, it's like I'm not necessarily spitting my dummy out because you don't want me in your life, but it's like I'll just disappear, then I'll just leave. And that is what I've done with a few of my friendships. If I've been treated a certain way or I don't like a certain way that they work, I'll just leave and like block them on Facebook. And the older I'm getting and the further away I'm getting away from that, I'm like, that's not necessarily a good way to do it. You should probably have a conversation, or maybe just not block them so that when their name does come up, it's not as daunting and like a bit of a, oh my God, they're there again. You know, instead of just being
Yeah.
like, oh, they're there and they're living life and they're fine. It don't necessarily have to be this massive,
Hmm.
massive thing that I make it into. So I'm trying to rewire my brain at the minute.
You're less afraid of conflict because before you can see conflict as a very bad thing when actually it's just open up.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think I had like tons of jobs before I became a tattoo artist, and if the manager spoke to me a certain way, I'd just quit. I knew in my head deep down that I always wanted to be self-employed and work for myself and have my own shop. And I think that played into it a little bit, but I also know that I really didn't deal well with conflict and been spoke to a certain way, which obviously I imagine still links to my childhood. Now it's like I prefer having that awkward conversation for a better life instead of losing friends for an awkward conversation. So definitely is a mental year for not only the band progressing, but I think myself as well.
There is two sides of putting boundaries, like you were completely shutting off and putting the person out of your life, and now it's just putting healthy boundaries and
Yeah,
just having
instead
this
of
conversation.
instead of just completely shutting them out, you've got a conversation to hopefully make it better and not have this person. So it's not only about just shutting them out, because when you do that to someone, they obviously don't like you. So then there's this element of this person's walking around saying, CJ blocked me and I don't know what I've done wrong. And then I just look like a psychopath. So
Hmm.
it's better to just go, oh, I'm not really happy about this thing you did. Shall we work on it? And that's what I'm trying my hardest to do. I'm doing it slowly but surely. I'm just a bit stuck in that sort of hole and I'm trying to get out.
At least, even if the end it doesn't work, you tried and you can get full closure of it.
Yeah, that's a nice way to look at it, definitely. You tried, you didn't immediately just shut down, you did something else to avoid that situation, so that's still a better way.
I think it's also a bit more complicated maybe with friends than with a partner, because with friends, there is not really a concept of breaking up with a friend like there
Mm,
is for a relationship. So it always feels a bit blurry.
absolutely, and I think with friends as well, there's not as much ties. So like with a partner, you'll have a house together or a kid or get married. There's no like ties to a friend, so you just, as soon as they're done or you're done, it's just bye. We won't see
Mhm.
you again, we won't talk again. And I think, not that I want to have a tie to a friend. I don't want to have a kid with my friends, but there's definitely like there's less things to keep you there. You've got to work harder at it, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
Mhm. Yeah, and so you were saying that when you mean I will suffer loss, you will also suffer the loss of friends. And sometimes it can get harder because there is no actual I'm breaking up with you
Yeah,
conversation,
yeah.
you know?
Sometimes it's just you just don't talk again and it's
Yeah.
done. One of my old best friends from high school, she got married, I think it were in May, and we had a bit of a falling out and I didn't go to the wedding. And it's just like, that's done. I'm not speaking to her. Like, we're not
Hmm.
speaking anymore. And it's like all them years of friendship and being together, it's like, oh, it's just, yeah, just nothing. Not even a bye.
Yeah, it's actually just like a breakup, actually. And
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But there's not, I think there's always a bit of a formal message when you break up with a partner, and there's always like a, this isn't working, it's not me, it's you sort of thing. No, other way around. Uh, and it's done that way with I mean, I do think I have done that once where I've been like, I don't really think we're compatible for each other as friends. That's when I started trying to be better with it. But before that, it was just like deleted, blocked, see you later, and I've just never
Hmm.
seen them again. I'm talking like this has happened loads of times and making myself sound like I'm super problematic. There's like been a couple of times like everybody goes through, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying.
And now we will go and talk about the second song that you wanted to talk about, which is Mould by
Yes.
Love Royally that you wrote, and especially the lyric "If only you had checked for mold." Can you
hmm
explain why this choice?
This one, this is one of my favourite lyrics that I've ever wrote. Not like I know it's nothing groundbreaking, but it was the first time where I felt like I resolved a song in a
Hmm.
storytelling mode. The line has a lot of heavy visual element to it, and it paints a picture instead of it just being a lyric. I remember listening to one of my favourite artists, Medium Build, and he's got a song about a white rabbit. And I was listening to it and I said to my partner, how does he do the storytelling? Like, how does he get that feeling of like you're in a movie when you're listening to the song? And Dan said it's just experience. And I was like, well, I really want to do that. I want to get that across in a song. I want, when people are listening to us, I want it to feel like a short film. And that's when I was like, right, this next song, I'm going to try it out. And as soon as we got to the end of the song, I was like, how do I finish this? And I was like, yeah, let's do a resolve. And it were like, if only you checked for mould, as in, if only you'd have just been a bit more careful with your decision before you dived so deep into it.
Hmm.
So yeah, I do love this lyric.
You're talking about this lyric that is at the end of the song, and
Yeah.
also at the beginning of the song, you're saying it's growing. I can hardly breathe inside of me. So I guess this is a reference to the
Yeah,
mold.
it's definitely within the metaphor. I'm basically saying that the mould's spreading and like affecting my life because of this person or thing.
And so here, the mold, do you refer it as a person or as something?
I'd say it's like open to interpretation to the listener, and for me personally, it was something inside myself. Because going back to like being extremely sensitive and holding on to things that some people wouldn't, you like become your own worst enemy in the way that you feel about things. Sometimes I feel a certain way about something and I'm like, "Oh, this is so boring and tiring. I'm sick of going to this place in my brain."
Hmm.
And that's essentially what I'm linking the mold to. Just that feeling taking over my body to the point where I don't even know how to deal with the situation anymore. So yeah, but I do think anyone listening to the song can go, that's how that made me feel, or that's how they made me feel. So yeah, I think it's got a bit of a thing that people can just make their own decision with that one.
Yeah, when I read the lyrics and listened to the song, I saw it at whether you're talking about yourself like an inner saboteur or
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. Or if only I had checked for mold, if only I saw those red flags in that
Yeah.
person, for
Yeah,
example.
exactly that. And it's also been mad at yourself again for like, it's like taking it out on yourself again for somebody else's stuff,
Hmm.
basically.
In the song, you call yourself accidental.
hmm
First, as a friend, can you explain to me how that can be translated exactly?
It's like even going to a thing of like when you're born and you weren't planned. It's like an accident
Hmm.
of a situation, but obviously not that deep. I'm just explaining it in a way of how someone can feel like accidental. And it also portrays to the thing of if somebody makes you feel a certain way about yourself for so long, I think you do start believing and thinking that yourself. I think any kind of rejection brings out all your insecurities and things that you already think about yourself to another level, basically.
Hmm.
So yeah, I thought accidental was like a nice word for it in terms of you were never meant to be involved with me, or this thing that we had was an accident, like a decision you made accidentally, basically.
Yeah, and you're talking about people who can make you feel this way also. And if you're with the wrong person,
Mhm.
actually, a relationship is supposed to uplift you, to make you feel your best. And
Yeah.
if you're with the wrong person, it can do the complete opposite.
Oh my god, yeah. And it's so hard to watch people stay because you know that there's nothing that you can do
Hmm.
if they won't change anything until they see it, and you just can't get involved. But yeah, when you're in it, it's horrible.
Yeah, that's the thing. When we are outside of it, it's so easy for us to
Yeah,
see that
yeah.
the mold is here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. You like, this isn't working and it's gonna be awful, and you can say all these things to this person and they'll be like, "But I love them. I
Exactly.
love them and it's lovely." And we're like, "No." But yeah, when you're in it, they're saying it to you and you're like, "No, it's fine." So yeah, I do think it's like rose-colored glasses situation.
Also, in the song, you say, "Why must I love rarely to love well?" So, including the band's name. And do you see this song as a bit of the essence of what love rarely is, or was it just a.
I think we love the idea of always trying to put a love rarely lyric in because I think the words can be manipulated in different ways and perceived differently. That one was the first time we did it. We wanted it to be a bit of a statement, so that's why it's such a sentence along such a heavy background. Because it were like, right, you're listening to us and you're going to hear our name and it's going to stay there as a lyric. And then going forward, we do want to do that again and just put it in different ways. And yeah, I think it's really cool when bands do it. I know a few of like my old favourite bands have put it in sometimes. It's just a nice little sprinkle because it also takes you out of the song a little bit because you're like, oh my god, love really. Like you hear this, you hear the thing and you're like, oh my god, yeah, I know that. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's a nice little Easter egg.
And is it something that you relate to, that you need to love rarely to love well, or that
I
you have.
think so,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it plays into the choosing your partners and friends well, and I think it's hard with family because you're tied to them and you've just got to. Well, you haven't got to. You don't have to do anything, but if you
Hmm.
have that empathetic bond with someone and you same as disappear, you've got to put with the bad things in that sense. But I think with friends and partners, you have got to be really careful and you've got to choose them well. And I think the statement keeping your circle small is so big because it is just so right. I think so many people run into issues when there's loads of people around you, and even with certain partners, you just don't know what you're walking into. You don't know
Hmm.
someone. You can't know someone fully ever, even if you've been with them like 20 years, they can still do something that completely takes you by surprise. And yeah, I think it's just a stance of being really careful and not ruining yourself
Hmm.
by other people.
Yeah, because sometimes you can be surrounded by 1,000 people, but when something happens, eventually you're all alone.
Yeah, absolutely. I know this is completely random, but I remember when I watched the Little Peep documentary and he got so massively famous and he had all these like people around him, and in the documentary he's like sat and he's obviously like taking drugs and none of them are like checking him or talking to him, and
Hmm.
it's just so strange. Like it becomes like leech territory where people just take, and when you don't think that way or if you don't have access to that thought process, it's like it'll just happen.
Yeah.
So I do think it's a nice thing to remember.
Yeah, I remember I watched it, and as you said it, I just got goosebumps because
Oh
that's for me
my
it's
god.
so chilling.
Yeah, it's horrible. You see all these like people around him sort of benefiting from his fame and his money, and it's just happening, and now he's not here. It's just horrible.
And do you feel right now that you are surrounded by the right people, that you gave your trust to the right people now?
I think so, yeah. If any of them do, I'll be so mad. But I do think right now it's a very, like, with the band and even the people involved with the band and my friends currently are all just really good people. And we've been so careful with the band because we know. I don't necessarily think it would be as last time if this didn't work out. I'd like to think we will never stop doing music, but we also are getting into his 30s now, and we don't want to. I think this one's going so well and feeling so right that we don't want anything to change. I think we've got a really good group of people around us now, and I think we've got us walls up in a way to not let anybody bad
Hmm.
in. So yeah, I do think it's probably the best it's ever been right now.
And that's the thing also when you've had relationships when the person was bringing your confidence in yourself down, then you learn also how to check for mold and you
Yeah.
gain the confidence to know, no, this is not going to work by.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a difference. Like, I remember fancying a boy at school and he were awful to me. But I was like, oh wow, he's so pretty and gorgeous. If like a guy did that to me now, just absolutely nothing. And I wouldn't even find him attractive anymore. I'd just be
Hmm.
like, you're a horrible person, get away from me. I think you gaslight yourself sometimes or without experience to make these awful people into nice people because there's something holding you there. But you do get wiser, don't you, as you get older? And you do know what to look out for and what equals a bad trait, basically.
Yeah, and you're not looking for the constant approval and constant love of the others, trying to make people love you.
I've definitely noticed that as well. I used to care so much about what people thought of me. There's still, I think, that can never leave. Like,
Hmm.
there's still little things, even I know as and when the band gets bigger, there's going to be comments online like about physical appearance, and they even do that thing where I see it now with Courtney Levitt and I can only think of Poppy because they've just done that song together, but they'll do like which one is hotter and then get people to rate it in the comments, and I'm like, how have we got here? Why are we still doing this in 2025? So I know that that's going to be rough, but in the grand scheme of like where I live and stuff like that, I literally don't care. But that's obviously going to be a different experience that I've got to work through, I think.
It's something I think no one is prepared for, to get this amount of unsolicited opinion about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Dan runs the TikTok, and I logged into it for a couple of weeks, and then this guy commented something, and it wasn't even that bad. It wasn't even like the worst thing he could have said. But I just said to Dan, I think I'm gonna log out and just stay away from that. And I think next year, when as big project releases, I think I'm gonna stay away from that as well. And I'm just I'm gonna put myself in a bit of a protective bubble because I think sometimes you are better off not knowing what
Hmm.
some people think about you. Because especially on the internet where people can sit on the other end with like a faceless account and just type literally anything they want and not get any consequences for it. I think it's absolutely crazy. So in that sense, I'm just like, that's not to do with me.
And you know inside of you, you know your worth, you know that it has nothing to do with you, but in the end, the words are still here. And
Yeah,
especially as a woman, like always being compared.
Yeah, it's so like I don't think I've ever seen a male version of that ever, but it's constant like with the female singers. It's very strange. I think people just still have a lot of learning to do in terms of that. I don't think it is as simple as they think it is with the internet.
And I feel like now women have always been in the scene, but now we see more and more of us, and I think it's gonna get more and more mainstream, even if it's in this genre, it's not gonna get mainstream, but so they are here to stay, and I'm all here for it.
Yeah, I love seeing like festival lineups now and taking all the female names out. It's actually starting to look even, whereas
Mhm.
before it'd be like two female fronted like bands, and that's crazy. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think we're definitely making good moves in that sense.
exactly. And I said it with another guest, but we were saying that how being a woman in this industry, whether you need to be very good, because if you're just average, it's
Completely
almost
dismissed.
when there are a lot of average men in it,
Oh,
and
I
it's okay for them.
yeah, absolutely. I remember playing this show once, and this guy come up to me and he said, "I thought you were going to be really bad because you were female," and I was like, "Oh God," as if that's like the reaction we
You
get.
thought that he thought that was a compliment, or
Yeah, well, I don't even know why you're saying this to me because it's mental.
you're good
It's
for a
so
girl?
funny. Yeah, good for a girl. Oh, amazing! Thank you so much. Yeah, it is accurate though. Like you have got to extremely stand out to get any sort of attention as a female.
Hopefully, the mentality is changing, and even with men, we see that at least in my surroundings, and I just want men like that for who this is completely normal,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
yeah, absolutely. I have faith. There's like a bit of a female takeover going on. It's so fun.
yeah, and it's not like we. Well, I say we, but I will never be in a band or something. But it's not like women want to steal the stage from men. They just
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
share it.
Just want to share it, yeah. Just literally want to have part of it, and as they should.
Exactly.
As we should, sorry.
Well, thank you very much, Courtney. I really enjoyed our conversation. It was very nice talking with you.
Thank you.
And now, what can we expect from Love Rarely in the future?
I think a big development of what we've already been doing, but like better. Uh, 2026 is coming up, and we have a big tour with Callous Boys in February, and then we've got some festivals confirmed that we can't announce yet. But we are currently in waiting mode for 2026 because it's not only just that we've got a big release coming that I think is going to be a massive change for us, and yeah, really positive. Hopefully, I've got a lot of faith in it.
Really exciting. Excited.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for everybody to hear it.
And yeah, when I saw the tour that you announced, the band you're touring with, I can never say the name right, but that's because I'm French, but not because it's not pronounceable, but the Carlos Dale Boys? Is it
Yeah,
so?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
the one. You
perfect.
got it right. Perfect.
And so I saw that they were touring also in Germany. I live in Munich, in Germany.
As in, yeah.
And then I saw that you were not here. I was disappointed,
Oh
but
no. We had another person messages saying I thought you were on the Europe bit as well. I was like, oh. I think that's hopefully something that's on the cards though. We do really want to tour Europe and eventually America. So that's going to happen at some point. It's just right now we're just trying to break through England, I think.
well, hopefully soon then.
Yeah.
And so you talked about your new release that is going to be a big change. Can you tell us what you can tell and just tell us a bit more about it?
I don't know how much I'm allowed to tell, but all I can say is that the songs are the best ever. that we've done. The videos are going to be the best ever we've done. It's just going to be. I think we spent this year getting mentally ready for this part of his career. I think playing 2,000 Trees to such a big crowd and playing Out Tangent to a bigger crowd than Trees has got us into like a really good spot to deal with. Maybe, do you know what, even how it's going to feel releasing it, because that's going to be extremely overwhelming. Because every release that we've done since the EP has been weird because people have been waiting for it instead of us just going, oh, we've got a song if you want to listen to it. People are like, we want the songs, we want to listen to everything. So yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a like groundbreaking moment for Love Rarely, and it's so crazy that it's going to be quite soon, really. So yeah, I'm very excited. So yeah, big releases and big announcements is what's to come.
Great. Then I'm looking forward to it.
Same.
Thank you very much,
you.
Courtney.
Thank you. It's been lovely. Lovely to meet you as well.
Lovely to meet you too. For everyone listening, please go check out Love Rarely on Spotify, on Instagram, everywhere you listen to music. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Into the Cave Pod. And I will talk to you again next week with another guest. And meanwhile, be kind to yourself. Bye.